Ah, Paris. I once had the most dreadful weekend away in Paris. It really was the most terrible cluster of mishaps I could imagine, and it felt like it had been scripted by Ricky Gervais. It started with me and my girlfriend at the time deciding to go on a romantic trip to Paris, the city of love. Being UK based at the time, we booked a package deal via lastminute.com. It included a return train ticket via Eurostar and 2 nights at a hotel placed right next to Montmartre. From the website, it looked boutique and perfectly placed for enjoying the wonders of Paris. Off we set on the train from London with our bags, rocketing beneath the English Channel. When we surfaced, the sky was dark grey and the rain clouds were coming sideways. The door of the train opened and an icy wind hit us in the face. Not the best start, but never mind. So we jumped in a taxi and gave the driver the hotel address. This was before the days of smartphones, so we were a bit at the mercy of the professional drivers to get around. After what seemed like an age, we arrived at the hotel. We walked in and went to the check-in desk. The French receptionist asked for our passports, and being the custodian, I pulled them out of the pocket that I always kept them in and handed them over. We were then given the key and instructed where our rooms were. So up the stairs we trundled, carrying our own suitcases. When we opened the door to our room, it was like walking into a museum of derelict furniture. Everything looked dirty and tired. The bed sagged so much in the middle it could have passed for a hammock. The bathroom was disgusting and the shower head had broken off. "I'm not having this," I said to my girlfriend in my finest English accent, and off to reception I went. I explained the situation to the receptionist, who had taken our passports, only for her to look at me blankly as if I had requested a ticket to Mars. Reluctantly she grabbed another key and thrust it in my hand. So off we went again and trundled up even more steps to our room, still carrying our cases. The new room was exactly the same, but worse. The bed was more sunken than a pirate chest, and this time the bathroom had blood splattered on the wall. So we trundled back down to reception again. This time the receptionist rolled her eyes and tutted as if I was being a complete dandy. Again, she chucked another key at me and off we went. This room was pretty similar to the first, but by now we realized that this was the standard of the place and we would have to make do. The rest of the weekend followed suit. Every meal we had was awful. We must have managed to find the lowest rated restaurants in Paris by random bad luck. It rained non-stop and it was freezing. Pretty much everything we planned had a twist in the tail, but that was nothing compared to what happened when we tried to end this godforsaken trip. On the last day, we couldn't wait to go home. As I checked out of the hotel, I informed them that I would be making a complaint to lastminute.com and walked out feeling really righteous and vindicated. We jumped in a taxi and headed back to the station. We got there in less than 10 minutes and it cost less than half of the taxi ride to the hotel, at which point I realized the driver who took us there had completely ripped us off and taken us on an undisclosed tour of the back streets of Paris. We arrived in good time, so I suggested to my girlfriend that we check in and then have a last drink in Paris. So off we went to the international check-in desk. I put my hand inside my normal passport pocket and nothing was there. What? I checked again. Nothing. I checked all my pockets, then my bag, then my case. My girlfriend asked me what was wrong as I frantically frisked myself. I explained the passports were missing. Then it dawned on me. I had left them at the hotel. I checked my watch and I had just enough time to get there and back if I got an honest taxi driver. So I left my girlfriend with the luggage and I raced off into the street and jumped into a taxi. I got to the hotel quick sharp and raced in, sweating and puffing. "I left our passports here. Can I have them back, please?" The receptionist from hell gave me the death stare from hell. "No," she said in a French accent, as she looked at me intensely. What? I responded with a somewhat agitated tone. We don't have your passports, she retorted. You do, I demanded. Don't play games with me just because I said I was going to make a complaint. She gave me another death stare and again replied, We don't have your passports. I was absolutely livid. But the more I insisted she give them to me, the more she insisted she didn't have them. I thought to myself, think, Duncan, think. I decided the best course of action was to get back to the international terminal and report our passports as stolen in the hope they could give us temporary ones. As I got back to the terminal, I saw my girlfriend standing there in tears. She looked terrified. While I was away, 2 Frenchmen had started harassing her and trying to lead her away. She had resisted, but no one had come to help. So now I had no passports and a distraught girlfriend. I tried my best to console her, and I gave her a big hug. As I hugged her, I felt something familiar in her coat pocket. I put my hand in the pocket and pulled out our passports. What the hell is this? I said, immediately losing all compassion for my poor girlfriend's situation. Oh, yeah, she said. The receptionist gave them back to me when we checked in. In that moment, I experienced every emotion ever identified by humanity. It was like I was having an out-of-body experience. Then I snapped myself back into reality and checked my watch. We had exactly 5 minutes before the check-in closed. Come on, let's run! So with our heavy cases, we ran as fast as we could to the elevator that would take us up to the departure level. We jumped in the lift, followed by an absolutely stunning-looking girl and her equally impressive rugby-shirted boyfriend. This guy was built like a tank, and he could barely squeeze his shoulders into the lift. The girl looked like she had just walked off of a catwalk. My girlfriend and I backed up against the wall of the elevator to make room. Just as the doors were about to close, this rather drunk-looking Frenchman staggered towards the lift. The rugby guy kept the door open for him. As the drunkard staggered into the lift, he caught his toe on the edge of the lift door and lost his balance. Of course, he reached out to save himself, and it just happened that the nearest thing on hand was the catwalk model's chest. The rugby guy didn't take to this too kindly, and a fight ensued right in front of us. It was not pretty, and my girlfriend and I did what little we could to dodge the blows. Unfortunately, the buttons to the lift were on the other side of the fight. After a minute of wrestling and screaming, the fight broke up, and the Frenchman left rather worse for wear. I checked my watch, 1 minute left. As we reached the check-in desk, the clock ticked over, and they shut the gates. No amount of pleading or begging could open the gates, and we watched as the train slowly pulled away from the station. Just to top it off, we found out the tickets were not flexible, so we needed to book 2 new tickets at full price, which cost more than the original weekend away in the first place. And that was the tale of my trip to Paris, the city of pain.